Oh snap, we got our new intro. Man, I'm just waiting for the throuple to crash and burn, and the cracks are beginning to show, worse than ever. But we'll get to that. Sarper has some cleanliness issues, but is Shekinah going to be able to fulfill? And Greg is continually evolving into a rapper, MC Yeast, we will call him. But all that is to come. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share with your friends, and if you want to support the channel, drop a super thanks. Y'all are amazing for all the support. I definitely appreciate every single week because the madness is not the same without you. Let's get right into it.
Why not? I mean, this is one of the biggest invention in the history, you know?
Yes, sure.
Fire, wheel, internet,
What's he talking about?
duvet.
It's duvet, but he's talking about bidet. So the biggest inventions ever is the fire, whatever else he said, because I've fried many of my brain cells. But a bidet. Well, you gotta love the actual, candidness of Sarper and just not caring what people think. So gotta love him for that.
With these kind of rules, I mean, I just arrived to US and don't do this, don't do this, don't do this.
Don't do this, don't do this.
Is it too much for you?
What?
Isn't it, babe?
No,
What?
it's not. It's just normal things.
It is not normal things. Like, this is he was acquiescing as much as he possibly could to her over there. You got to give him credit for that. And he's coming over here, and it's just like rules, 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 not even taking what Sarper has or even wants into consideration at all. And if you're trying to get married, you can't just have it as like, well, I've lived here for as long as I have. This is my house. Get over it. I'm like, yeah, well, he's going to carry himself back to Turkey, and then you could be alone with all your glitz and glam and surgeries.
Well, you had so much going on with the visa process. I didn't want to overwhelm you with like the reality of like what it's going to be like when I have clients.
What? I didn't want to tell you what the actual reality of your situation was going to be because you were overwhelmed with the visa process and everything. No, that's because you knew it sounded ridiculous, you saying you have to actually leave the house, and so you just wanted to make sure he was here so he'd be less likely to leave you. That is manipulative, and that is wrong. That is not the way to start a relationship, which I know they've been in one, but they're not married yet, so that's not the way to start a marriage, is complete manipulation.
I wish she kind of told me about this apartment before I came here, because the rules, okay, I respect that. It's her house, it's her space, but right.
No. See, you're getting that wrong because she brought you over there saying she's going to marry you. So it's going to be your space and her space. So you saying it's her space and I respect that, that is 100% wrong. It is y'all's space. Now, if y'all need to talk about what the rules are and figure out as a couple how you're going to handle some of these things, that's fine. But her completely barking orders and acting like she's the ruler of the roost when she brought you over here when you didn't even want to come, time to stand up and say, listen, look, I know we all have fun, all these fun games we play, all jokes we tell, but the reality is this is my daily life, and we're going to have to come to some kind of consensus because I don't need to be kicked out of the house anytime you have a client, and I can't even make food in here. That's ridiculous. But she gets even more ridiculous when they go to the beach. Bossy one this one.
I guess Mina's walking off.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Talk.
Hold on a second. For one, right then and there, look, the theme of this episode with good old Mark, Mina, and Jordan is Mark needs to grow a frickin' spine because the problem is both of them, Jordan and Mina, are wrong on some level. And Mark just completely goes back and forth like, well, I told her this, well, she wants this, well, she wants this, she wants this. The difference is with Mina, you have a small child, so you need to take that into consideration, of course, and that baby needs to come first. However, Mina cannot manipulate you into do whatever you want, and Jordan cannot manipulate you into doing whatever you want. Grow a frickin' spine, because right now, you are no man.
She knows.
Because I said how I feel about you guys having more kids, and she doesn't care. She wants to have more kids.
It's not her business. I mean, the reality is I don't think Mark should be trying to have any more small babies, but that's their business. If he's going to this is his life. He can have more kids if he wants to. I mean, it is what it is, even if you disagree with it. So her saying that, like, I told her you shouldn't have any more kids, it ain't got nothing to do with you. You're a grown woman at this point.
Kids, and I'm not going to be okay with that. So if you guys are just going to disregard how I feel, then maybe
Does not matter how you feel. Doesn't matter. Your feelings are irrelevant. Now, he can have conversations with you and say, listen, this is X, Y, and Z. I want us to find a way to be able to be a good family and be able to have gatherings and things like that. But her saying that, like, it's not like a daughter. It's not saying like, this doesn't feel right, Dad. It's her saying, I'm not okay with this, almost like she's a wife. Maybe she took on the role or tried to take on that role just because divorces can be crazy and sometimes kids react different ways. I don't know when exactly they got divorced, but even if she was in her upper teens or early 20s, it still could be rough. So maybe she felt like she needed to act more of a authoritarian level, but the reality is it's not her call. Doesn't matter what she wants, doesn't matter what she says. She can say, her opinion, sure, but she needs to accept what happens, and if she's going to just completely leave and not be in her dad's life, then you know what? That's kind of on her. But he's also going to have to stand up to both of them. This is not just a Jordan problem, and this is not just a Mina problem.
And I'm not going to choose between my fiance and my daughter. So I don't know where we go from here.
Well, first thing you need to do is stop trying to play the fence. When Mina does wrong and storms off like a child and, leaves her son behind because of a passport issue, time to call her out on it. When your daughter comes in and says, I'm not okay with this, like she has any kind of say in the issue instead of saying, Dad, you know what, these are my concerns and this is what I see and this is what I feel. You can do what you want, but these are just my concerns. Coming in a kind of respectful way instead of this is what you need to do. He needs to look at both of them when the time presents itself and say, no, no, no. You are not going to sit here and bark at me and act like a perpetual child, because that's what they're both doing.
I lose my family. I lose my son coming here for the peace.
Okay, that you right there. See, that says everything you need to know about Mina. Every problem she has, which is why, people who say, oh, Jordan this, Jordan that, sure, let's call Jordan out. But call Mina out too, because the reality is she's sitting here, I came here for peace. I left my son behind. You lost me, because there was no reason you should have left your son. As soon as that passport was delayed or whatever, sorry, I'm not coming there, Mark, right now, because I'm not going to leave my son behind. As a mother, you should want to be there instead of leaving your son with some random friend because there was a minor holdup because you wanted to get over there and secure your place in America. That's what makes you a bad person.
Qu'il accepte pas, il me soutient pas, je pense que notre relation, ça va risquer de...
There you go. She said it right there. If Mark doesn't support me, I'm going to go back to Paris. Now, that doesn't mean if he doesn't support our family and if he doesn't act as a father and a husband should. That means if he doesn't back me 100% in what I say with Jordan, then I'm going to go back. Make no mistake, this is not her making the case for, but I'm going to be your wife and this is your child. No, this is her making the case for, I don't care. You, in every single situation, you make sure you side with me.
Jealous because I felt like I was disrespected.
How the hell were you disrespected? This is what I'm talking about. This is the cognitive dissonance, if you will, of this whole situation of you think it's something, but it's really not, or you're playing it up in your mind to be something that's not. Whatever the case may be, you want to be in a throuple relationship. He didn't even want to be in one, and you convinced him while admitting you have jealousy issues. He's a freaking idiot for even admitting to it, knowing that you have, or accepting it, knowing that you have jealousy issues, and you're an idiot because, well, I don't even think it has anything to do with her thinking it through. It's just, it was lust. Only lust. She's trying to fulfill her bisexual side or whatever, and here we are. Jealous because they had sex beside you in the bed. What do you expect? You're in a throuple. You're all supposed to be doing things, right? This is what he's relegated to.
Okay.
It's okay. I got it.
He's gonna be relegated to the server. That's exactly what he is. Make no mistake about this. It's great to take care of your wife and everything like that. This is not what this is. They're perfectly fine with him serving them and them being in a relationship because his wife did not or set this whole thing up so they can both be happy. No, this was strictly for her.
Tell me what you're thinking.
Look at that. They relegate him back to the kids' table in the back. He's not even worthy of sitting around the fire and, eating with them breakfast. He's got to sit back there. That's what's happening here. So if he doesn't realize what's going on, he needs to just end this now because this is absolutely ridiculous. And who's the one that's going to be hurt by this or the ones? They're kids that they don't seem to care enough about to think, hey, maybe bringing a whole nother person from Mexico into this who doesn't even really care, clearly has a financial motive, and probably has plenty of ulterior motives, may not be the best thing for their family. But no, let's go ahead and just play into our lust.
That's being thoughtful, being considerate, being respectful, and she demonstrated that.
I
she
think so the man never understand this.
Oh, okay. He doesn't understand how you need to be considerate of telling your wife that you just slept with this other woman. Says the other woman. What kind of three-dimensional multiverse are we living in right now? Like, this is insane. This guy should feel like the lowest, most POS pathetic human being on the face of the earth. Right then, that should have been his moment to say, I'm out. Look, I'm going. Are you coming? Talking about his wife. Are you going? We're going to go take care of our kids. Look at this as a blip on the radar of our life and go back to our happy marriage and happy life and be very thankful and blessed that we have our kids. No, instead, he's just, oh, okay, yes, dear. Yeah, whatever you say, I was wrong. Like, how pathetic can you get?
So if you already have a lot of issues and it's shaky and you bring in a third person, it's probably not going to go well.
There it is. If you already have a lot of issues and it's shaky and you bring in a third person, it's probably not going to go well. You're saying this now? Like, why could you not think of this before? Oh, because you're letting your lust rule everything. Problem is there's a reason why lust is a 7 deadly sin. Whether you're religious or not, you don't even have to believe the deadly part, fine. But there's a reason why that is completely singled out because of how detrimental it can be if you follow that lust. You're in a marriage. Focus on your marriage and your kids.
Is losing you. I don't know how I can exist in a life without Matt.
That makes absolutely no... This is what I'm saying. This lady is like, has the brain of like a 15-year-old or something. She's all over the place. She doesn't really know what she wants. Now she's back to saying, I don't know how I can survive without Matt in my life. Well, then why the hell would you bring another woman into your lives? Again, we go back to that same term, lust. It's the biggest problem right now in their relationship. Instead, you know what the most powerful thing is? Overcoming those things, overcoming those addictions, those urges, those whatever things that are going to bring you down, overcoming them as a couple together and moving forward and realizing that as a unit in your marriage with your kids, you can overcome anything and you can have a fantastic life. But instead, here they are succumbing to them.
So I guess we're just going to run by the house and try to fix it, and then can we go to the coffee shop?
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with... Hold on a second. Hold on. We're going to go back just a hair. All right, let's look at... So he's mad because he cut his mustache a little too short or whatever. He trimmed it up. What do? You go get your hair cut. They're getting your facial hair cut up. They're going to edge you up. They're going to get you right. He's mad about this. Look, I like Maddie, okay? I like him. But this is a little bit of a diva move. He wants to go back to the house and have her fix it before they go out to a coffee shop. Now, let's be real. When it comes to myself, let's talk about, I have personally cut off parts of my beard mustache before just because, well, things happen. What do? Nothing. It grows back. You get over it. You have a good laugh about it, like, I messed up there. What are you going to do? Instead, he wants to go back and fix it. And the way they fix it is fun. They're literally dotting it in with a Sharpie. Come on, that is some diva behavior I don't need to see with that. I mean, that looks ridiculous right there. What are you even doing? Just let it go, be a man and say, well, stuff happens. If it's bad enough, you just shave it off and say, well, it's going to grow in fuller next time.
I'm going to get a white chocolate latte.
It's $13.20.
Well, we found the one coffee shop that costs more than Starbucks. Congratulations.
Or what he wants to do. And so that's why the topic got brought up.
I still feel like you shouldn't have told her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have told me that.
Now you're setting a dangerous precedent in your future marriage, which is saying, you shouldn't have told me that. Okay, well, guess what? As a guy, you know what he's going to do? He's not going to tell you that because we already don't want to put that burden on. A lot of times we hold a lot of things in. That's why we're not always super emotional, because we try to carry those loads. Just do what we got to do, go to work every day, make money, do what we got to do for our families. That is how we're wired typically. So you tell a guy when he's actually telling you something, in your relationship or something that he wants to open up to you about, maybe you shouldn't have told me that. Guess what he's not going to do next time? Congratulations, you're an idiot. Because now, and he was completely right. Why would you tell your mom about the situation where he said, I think about maybe wanting to go back and visit Iran? That is perfectly natural on the first night you're back in the United States, and probably for a while after, to think, hey, maybe at some point I can go visit my family that I just left. Stevie is not a smart person.
So that is a thought that always comes to my mind.
Like going back?
Not going back, seeing my family.
Exactly. He's trying to explain it. He's trying to explain what the whole thing was. He's saying, it's always a thought in my mind. And she's like, what, going back? No, just seeing my family. That is natural. You left your family who you've never left before. And so naturally, you're going to think about wanting to see them, figuring out a way you can see them, which is not going to make it so you can't come back. That's natural. Her to act like she's hurt by that, that's a big problem and shows her very, very low emotional intelligence.
So before you were okay with thinking that if we broke up, you would stay here?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that I'm okay with that either.
She is an incredibly emotionally immature person. This is the whole context of that. At face value, you might say, oh, he's thinking he just wants the green card. In reality, what he said is, when I was back home and I was thinking about that, I thought, you know, if we break up, I would probably just try to stay in the United States. But now I don't feel that way anymore. That's what he said. The reality is even if he did still feel that way, the way you can talk about all the gold diggers, all the people who just want a green card in the world, he does not come off that way. And for him saying that you're talking about leaving your home country to come live over here, and you think about, hey, what might happen if it doesn't work out to someone you haven't spent any significant time with, that is completely reasonable to have that thought. She should have a kind of respect for that, considering she had been married before. But no, because she can't think through these things on a serious emotional level that is a little more intelligence than a 70 IQ.
I've never thought about what it would be like to not be with Maddie.
You're a damn liar. You are an absolute liar saying you've never thought about what it'd be like to not be with him, especially since you've been through a divorce. You 100% think about that. You may not admit it because you're trying to have the high ground here, and when you're talking in your little interview, you're trying to make people think, hey, he's the bad guy, you know, oh, he's the bad one in this case. It's manipulation at its finest. But saying that you've had that thought is not a bad thing, but you just decide to lie about it. Every time! Every time he comes in with rap music, it's great. You gotta love it. Like, MC Yeast is in the building. I'm telling you, he is 2 steps away from having a gold chain, some gold teeth, and dropping an album. Oh snap! We got our new intro.
Home, our own house.
Well, I'm hoping, you know, if everything goes normal and everything goes right, maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
A year and a half or 2 years. How on earth do you think that is possibly going to happen when you don't have a job and you're still trying to be baker boy without any kind of money to make it happen? You're turning down jobs left and right, and yet you want a year or two to buy a house in New York?
I don't want us to be wasting money on an apartment. You know, I'd rather just save up a down payment for something and we'll get our own.
See, now that would make sense if he was actually being truthful about this. So I agree on the sense of when you rent, you definitely are just throwing money away. If you can buy, that would be the best option because your chances are you're getting a better value and at least it's going towards a mortgage. However, in his case, he's using it as manipulation because he has no job. He wants to open a bakery he has no money for, and he doesn't even want to. Every time he's got an interview, he turns down a job. So those are the issues. That's why right now he's trying to make it sound like he's mature by saying, well, you know, I just want to buy. Dude, if you really wanted to take care of your family, you would have your own space. So she's saying 3 to 6 months. That's perfectly reasonable. That's going to be hard enough dealing with a mother-in-law. So maybe try to rent for a while and then you can work on your bakery if it works in your family's budget or financial ways that you, whatever your situation is. I'm going to say it probably doesn't, and you need to man up and do what you're supposed to do to take care of your family, which he is not doing.
Once in a lifetime. Yes.
So this is something we're just gonna have to budget as well, you know.
Yeah.
You know, as long as we come up with a budget and figure, you know, maybe $500-600.
What are you budgeting? $500 or $600 for a wedding dress? I mean, listen, I think wedding dress prices are ridiculous, but at the same time, you talking about budgeting for a wedding that you have no money for. How are you budgeting with $0 and no job? But yet that's your answer is we're just gonna have to budget for it. Okay, well, I guess let's budget for taking out more loans and more credit card debt. Sure, let's budget for that. How are you going to pay it back? We'll budget for it? Dude needs some life lessons.
Oh my God. That's crazy. And this
Now he is showing Aaliyah around some various celebrity houses, and you get the sense that maybe Aaliyah is just there for the glitz and glam of Beverly Hills. Don't get me wrong, neither one of them are innocent, as we will see going forward.
like this. What is this?
He really does have a lot of things in his house, a lot of random hanging things and stuff. Clearly, he has a very eclectic taste, as he stated himself, but it kind of really has no rhyme or reason, which, whatever, do you, man?
Not see somebody but once every 8 months and be happy that way.
Okay, talking about not being able to be with someone and see someone for 8 months and not being happy that way, make no mistake, they're actually talking about intimacy here, trying to code it as, oh, just seeing them will be tough if I can't do it for 8 months.
Our open relationship, how do you think? Will you keep doing that? For the future?
Well, he just got here, so I think this is something that we're going to need to discuss, but I don't...
Hold on a second. 2 seconds ago, he's talking about how, oh, it's the distance and everything, and that's what it is, and now it's, oh, we'll talk about it later. This is shades of Lauren. This is happening again. This happened again with them when they were doing the other way or whatever, which was like, he talked about the open relationship, and in reality, he just wants to sleep with other people. And he is having a struggle because, oh, he's a gay dude that wants to be with dudes. And Aaliyah is, trying to act more feminine at this point. So why is Aaliyah even here? Why? Clearly you don't want this. Clearly it's going to crash and burn, obviously, as they showed from the beginning. So why even carry on with this? It's stupid. They're using each other. Aaliyah just wants to be here to be in Beverly Hills. He just wants, I don't really know what he's doing, to be honest with you. It's dumb.
So as much as I love Aaliyah, at the end of the day, I didn't sign up to be in a relationship with a woman.
There it is. See, he says it right there. So why are you continuing on? Now, granted, Aaliyah still got shades of Douglas there, but clearly he doesn't want someone that's dressing up as a woman and trying to act like a woman. Clearly he don't want that. Why are you carrying on with this? It's dumb. Everything about this is dumb. Gotta love it. He's having his Baywatch moment. He wanted to have them dress up in Baywatch outfits or red swimsuits or whatever and have a moment on the beach. You gotta love Sarper. He's got that childlike, just wants to have fun and wants to joke around and stuff, so you gotta enjoy that. Although, I think Shekinah's probably gonna suck the life out of him.
You are working. If I come here, is there a problem for you, for example?
Oh.
If you come to the beach?
Yeah, swim.
Why don't you just get to know the neighborhood?
And there it is. So he's going to be on a tight leash. All he asked was, while you're working, you said I have to go elsewhere. So are you going to be okay? Wait, is it okay if I come to the beach? Why don't you just, go around town? So basically, I don't want you to be around anywhere that any other women could be. You're in Beverly Hills, so have fun with that. But either way, and by the way, Shekinahs are a dime a dozen in Beverly Hills. There's a ton of plastic surgeoned up women there. So just, take your pick, I guess. But just saying, you brought him here and then he won't be okay with him going to the beach. He's got to go somewhere for hours. Let the man go to the beach. Good Lord.
I can see how not trusting him could damage our relationship, but also trusting him too much could damage our relationship.
No. It could if you don't trust him, and then you're going to go through your whole life just not trusting him. You need to make a decision here. Are you going to trust him or not? Because if you go with that skepticism throughout your relationship, then there's going to be a big problem. It's natural to have, a little bit of, questions if something raises a red flag. There's nothing wrong with that. But you making it seem like he can't do anything day to day because you're going to have issues trusting him is going to continue to cause problems in your relationship. And guess what? You're going to get what you've always gotten, which is broken up with and single.
If she never let me feel the freedom that I want,
yes,
I will destroy everything, all bridges, and go back.
Yes. So see, he's already saying if she doesn't come through, I'm just going to burn the bridges and go back, because what's the point of being here if I'm going to basically be on lockdown? You need to leave the house. But by the way, here are your approved places you can go. The coffee shop down the street, the bookstore is fine. Oh, and the McDonald's, that's fine as well. Otherwise, you better stay where I tell you to stay.
And placing plastic forks all over their front lawn.
Senior prank.
Yeah.
She's like, you crazy Americans, what the hell are you talking about putting forks in someone's lawn? My God. She's like, I think I just decided I'm going back to Africa.
Sometimes I feel like Greg's humor can be kind of a deflection for whatever internal issues he's having.
100%. That's exactly what he does. What he does is you say something he don't like, he's like, oh, this over there, I'll do this. Like it's a 100% deflection. Problem is he doesn't really have anything he can back up with, so that's all he's got because he doesn't have any jobs. He's turned down the only jobs he has. He has a dream with no money to back it up, and he's got debt. And now he's brought someone over here who he doesn't have a place to live with, and he doesn't have anywhere for them to go. So all you got is deflection because you can't answer the questions.
I wanted 3 months.
Yes.
So what are you doing to achieve that?
What are you
I'm
doing?
about to jump off this dock.
And there it is. Prime example. Says she wants to be here for 3 to 6 months in his mom's house. I think that's generous. That's going to be very difficult. That's generous of her to say, look, 3 to 6 months. And his friend asks, says, what are you doing about this? I want to go jump off this dock. Exactly. No answer, because his answer makes no sense.
The bakery, man.
I want to open a bakery. Okay.
I don't know what kind of funds you have in reserve.
Yes.
I know you have this dream of a bakery, but I mean, is it worth spending that money on a bakery?
Yes, 100%. This is what you don't see because they don't show a lot. Guy friends who hold each other accountable. So right now, these are long-term friends. I've known him for a good portion, at least the one that's talking has known him for a good portion of his life. And he's sitting here saying like, you want to open a bakery. I don't know what funds you have in reserve, but is your money best spent there? Or maybe, I don't know, living with your wife. This is the kind of stuff you need to see because men hold each other accountable. You don't always do it in public. We hang out, whatever. You do it there. But men hold each other accountable. That's what we do. We can fight with each other and be fine the next day.
Why a steady source of income might be, a good option for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really would be. 100%.
So the guys are really grilling me hard about getting a real job and just moving out of my mom's house.
They are, and it's all warranted.
It is true. It's all warranted. But the amount of money that I have been spending to go back and forth to Uganda, the food, where we stay.
The food.
I wouldn't call it a sacrifice, but
this piece of human debris right here, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. A man who does not do what he needs to do. His friends are holding him accountable, telling him, maybe it's best to get a job, maybe it's best to take care of your family. What does he do? He shifts the blame. He says it's warranted and then says, but all these trips I've been going to Uganda, all the food I've been getting, and I'm not saying it's a sacrifice, but I am saying it's a sacrifice. Oh, poor you. You brought this lady over here under false pretenses, thinking y'all would be able to have a life together, thinking you could get married, thinking you would have a job, thinking you would, I don't know, take care of your wife. But you can't even do that because you're a piece of garbage. You are a man-child. That's all you are. Mommy sticks up for you. You don't want to leave mommy's basement because that's all you got. So she would be best served to go back because right now you are no man. You have no interest in being a man, and that's all you're ever going to be. So,
everyone gets a chance to talk. It's going to be impossible to speak over you two.
So they're trying to come up with rules for the throuple because that couldn't possibly go wrong. And his one rule is everyone should have a chance to talk because it's going to be impossible to talk over you two. Let me tell you something, son. Let me sit you down, Sonny, because you are about to get ran over, and no amount of threesome throuple madness that you're dealing with is going to make up for that because they are going to run you, chew you up, spit you out, and leave you because you're a dumb, not so nice word. But, I'm not going to go there. That's what you are. You're a simple-minded idiot who's only thinking with the wrong head.
I don't want it to be that restricted. That is why initially I never wanted rules.
Oh.
But I couldn't help what I felt that moment.
I didn't want rules, and I sold you on this whole thing, but I can't help what I felt because my jealousy that I admitted I had was getting the best of me because, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be in a relationship with multiple people because I'm a stupid person. Everyone in this does not have a whole lot of brain cells to rub together in their heads.
You made such great progress.
Big progress, I think.
Big progress. I'm so happy. Give me your hands,
Big
everyone.
progress. Oh, good. Group hug. Oh, yeah. Awkward, super awkward group kiss because this is totally going to last forever. This is one of the dumbest storylines I think I've seen on the show. They've done some pretty dumb things, and they've really got the production to ramp up some drama. But this has got to be one of the stupidest, and it's clearly because what else they got? They got to keep ramping it up, right?
It's my first day here. We need to go hiking.
I don't think Aaliyah's going to take kindly to hiking, considering Aaliyah wants to be there for the celebrities. That's pretty clear.
I've been married before and it didn't work out, so I'm more fearful about that. So I want to make sure everything's going along.
So Aaliyah asked, if I didn't have to get married in 90 days, would you still marry me? Sean's response is, well, I've been married before, so, I got to take things slow and all this. I'm like, okay, so that's a no. So what is the point? Explain to me the point of this whole thing other than another drama-filled storyline. There is no point. Neither one of them want to be with each other for any reason other than some ulterior motive. God knows what it really is for Sean. I don't really know. I haven't figured that one out yet. But Aaliyah clearly wants to be there for the celebrity aspect of it. So what's the point? And that's probably clearly why it showed us in the very beginning the crash and burn. So people would ride with this storyline knowing that, oh, it's headed to an epic fail. Classic production trick.
I expected her to be more understanding and tell me that, no, it's going to work out. Don't worry. Like, we get it.
So they're talking about the whole conversation with, he said he thought in his mind that, if it didn't work out, he might stay there, but he changed his mind on that. A really kind of mundane conversation. And she kind of acted ridiculous, like a child, like most of these people act. And go figure, he says behind the scenes that I kind of just want her to sit here and say, like, no, it's going to be fine, it's going to work out, because he just left his home country, which he clearly is having a problem leaving, in his family, and maybe he just wants some reassurance because he's struggling. But instead of you being able to see that, you're in your feelings. So go ahead, be in your feels a bit, Stevie.
This is my fault that I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
No, it's not your fault. You need to tell me so we can...
Nope, you can't have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways. As I said before, she made it seem like, he was wrong for telling her these things. So now he says, I'm sorry, it was my fault for telling you. I just need to not tell you these things. No, but you need to tell me. You cannot have it this way. You cannot play those mind games. Either you want to have open communication in a relationship or you don't. But instinctively, we're not saying a whole lot of things because we keep it in. We don't want to put that emotional burden. We hold that stuff in. That's why we don't cry a lot. That's why we don't have those emotional breakdowns, because we keep it in. We've learned to do that as men. So he's just saying, I opened up to you. I trusted you enough, and you kind of shot me down. So now I know I should have just kept it in. And now, no, don't do that. Like, lady, stop playing this manipulation game.
Let's wait and see and try. I know you're mad.
You tell me try. I'm tired to try anytime.
You don't try. She doesn't try. That's the problem, is every time you tell me to try. You and Jordan are not trying. You're both hard-headed, bullheaded, that he has let you get away with, both of you, instead of saying, listen, stop acting like children, work it out or don't, but I'm not going to sit here and be in the middle of you two acting like children. Hey, you see a theme here? Adults acting like children all the time.
You try for what? For your family?
Yes.
For yourself? For your daughter?
Yeah.
It's too much work for me.
It's too much work for you to actually give it a shot with the family of your future husband. I mean, that's about ridiculous there. I mean, it's one thing to say, hey, Jordan's being ridiculous, but she's acting like she don't want to give it a shot with any of his family. And oh, by the way, even who's been in a relationship before where it's been hard to kind of break through to a family member? It takes time sometimes. You know what you do? If you really care, you continue to try. If it gets ridiculous, then you know what? Fine, you don't try anymore. She's not trying even a skosh bit. Everything is ridiculous and everything is dumb. The producer said, let's get a bunch of, children in adult bodies and, put them on a show and act like they actually know what they need or want in a relationship. That'll probably sell, right? That's what 90 Day Fiancé has devolved into. It's entertaining though, but is it about love? Does anyone really think this is about love anymore? No. But we will see how it all plays out. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. If you want to support the channel, drop a super thanks. I definitely appreciate all the support. Y'all are awesome, and I will see y'all next time.